You're looking absolutely amazing at the moment.
Thank you.
What are you doing? What's the
You know
plan?
what's so funny is I'm literally doing less. I'm doing less than I ever have. In the whole fitness industry, what we've been told, like our entire journey is like, okay, well, if you're not losing weight, you need to drop calories more, you need to do more exercise, this, that, and the other. And like, it's like I respond so negatively to stress. So anytime that like I'd get to a stagnant point and I'd do more and more and more, I would literally just like puff out more and more and more. And like my gut health stuff, I like came to like a kind of a complete halt last year where I had no choice but to quite literally strip back on everything and just like really, really, really do the internal work. And I'm literally training less. I'm focusing less on food. And it's like, because that stress is relieved from my body's actually now working with me rather than against me. And it feels so, so good. Like it feels like genuinely the first time in my entire fitness journey that my body is actually like doing what it was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like I feel like for so long I knew that I had like this underneath, but I was constantly just like always just like flooded with like inflammation and like water retention and just like fluctuations every single day. And now I'm like actually like chilling. And it's so nice.
It is. Homeostasis is hard to achieve. We really don't, we underestimate how stressed our body is until we actually feel good. We're like, whoa, I was not good.
100%. 100%.
Wild.
Yeah. It was so interesting. And I feel like I always like, as much as like you go through things in your life that like you literally like, why does this have to happen? I always get to the end of like a challenging stunt and I'm like, literally, thank God, because how else was I supposed to learn that lesson? You know, like life will challenge you in all these different ways to teach you something. And I feel like this was such an important part of my like fitness journey and my health journey and just like my journey as a whole was to be like, you need to actually have balance and like you need to like chill out a bit because I was always like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And like doing more and more and more. And my body literally was like, girl, you need to chill. As much as I didn't think I was stressed, I was so used to living in stress that was like my norm. So like, you know, running your own business and those types of things, you're always in a state of stress. So it was like my personal life was stressful. And then my training, as much as training is so healthy on the body, it is a stress as well. Then years and years and years and years and years of dieting, you know, another stress on the body. So it was just like my entire life, it was just stress on stress on stress. And I wasn't balancing that out with like, you know, yoga, meditation, slow movement, like going for walks and actually switching off, not just being like, okay, what do I have to do today? Like just rushing into the next thing. Just like stripping everything back and not overcomplicating literally everything and like just enjoying the things I get to do every day. And my body is just like reaping it up, which is just the best feeling.
It is the best feeling. It's just so nice to feel good in your body and in your mind, and you realize that it's all connected. When your body feels good, your mind's going to feel better. When your mind feels good, everything else feels better.
100%. I've always said that. It's like being like you can achieve this goal body, right? But if your mindset is not good as well, that body will mean shit all to you. Like you will not feel good. Like every single thing comes down to your mind. And like even if, you know, you're not at your goal body, but you feel good mentally, you're going to feel 1,000 times more confident than like the opposite. You know what I mean? Like if you were in this body that you hate, in this body, but like you hate yourself sort of thing. So yeah, it's so nice to actually have that balance. I was thinking the other day, it's like, this is probably the best I've ever looked and the best I've ever felt. And like having those two together is like, because I have, you know, I've been super lean before and obviously I've had anorexia and those things where like people will compliment you, but you're like, I don't even see what you see. Like I don't feel good, but like it's nice to be like, no, I've worked so hard and I'm so proud of where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very common misconception that when you reach your goal look, you're going to feel like that person. But actually, when you start to feel like that person, that's when you start to look like that person. It's definitely not the other way around.
Yeah.
It's very similar in bodybuilding when people like think that when they get to the comp lean, like their whole prep, they'll be like, I look shit, I'm not small, I'm not big enough, I'm too small, I'm not lean enough. And they think that just like magically they're going to like love their body on show day. And they, oh no, I'm going to be all good with a tan. But then show day comes, they're still disappointed in themselves. They haven't enjoyed the process. And then that's usually when they just have a bad post show as well.
Yep.
And so it really is about like flipping the script of like when you feel like that person, you feel in love with your body, then that body will come. But it just cannot be the other way around.
Yep. Genuinely. And like, I feel like that's such, it's like, and people won't believe it until they actually experience it. Like when people, like, it's like that common thing where you'll look back on a photo of you from 2 years ago and you'll be like, oh my God, like I looked so good then. But you like, if you try and picture yourself back then, you were so self-critical, you picked yourself apart, you hated what you looked like and everything. And it's like, you like, instead of having to go through that and like completely wiping yourself of an experience where you could feel confident and proud and like empowered within yourself, it's like just like embracing, like you can love yourself and still not be satisfied. You know what I mean? Like you can be really proud and confident within yourself. I always find that like confidence as well isn't even from your body. It's from like you as a person. And if you can flip the switch from just being like, oh, but I don't look hot enough or lean enough or muscly enough. It's just like, okay, well, I'm a good person. So like you can just like focus on that first, and then everything else will kind of come together as well.
Yeah.
Because like if you are actually like happy within yourself, you're going to start to do things that, you know, naturally are going to help you look better as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The more you go and you just put out good energy, you exercise more because you like it, the things are going to work. Your body is under less stress, you'll sleep better, you'll recover better. As you know, like your gut health is going to improve. All of those things are just a byproduct from you feeling good within. And it's, super important for people to sort of go, okay, well, what do I want? How am I going to achieve that? It's probably not the way we have been taught previously. We need to step within and step inside first.
Definitely.
So take me back to younger Millie before the gym, before the mindset work. What was life like for her?
Oh my goodness. Literally, younger Millie was so depressed, like genuinely so depressed, like so unhappy, so like did not like myself whatsoever, literally hated myself and felt like so unworthy all the time. Like that's how I remember young Millie, and like not surrounded by good people because like you become like a product of like your environment and stuff like that. And yeah, like that's why I just feel so passionate about mindset, because I'm like, I flipped the switch for myself, because like you have no other option. You kind of keep going down the same path you're going to go down, which like, I mean, I experienced where that was going to lead. Or you like, what's the worst case scenario? You try and work on your mindset and you either become happier and become more confident and actually start enjoying life, or you keep going the way you're going and hating life and hating every second of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I kind of gave myself like that choice to be like, okay, well, let's just see how this goes. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I keep living the way I'm living. Like, at least we try. And was able like to completely like flip it. But it obviously took so long, and I had to go down a very destructive and negative path first. But yeah.
So take me into that destructive sort of period when you were feeling unworthy. Where did that come from? What was your internal dialogue like at the time?
So from probably like, and I know this is super young, I always felt like quite old for my age back then, and I always hung out with older people. But like when I was like in year 5 to like year 6, year 7, when I was living in Tamworth, I was hanging around like older people, but like not good people, like not people that you should surround yourself with, sort of thing. And yeah, just like not in a very good crowd again, very like unhappy within myself, like didn't like the person I was, whatever. And then I actually moved to Newcastle with my mum and my sister, and I had a really rough like younger years. Like they were really like rough, and so that was kind of like my family being like, we need to get you out of here, sort of thing. And then also like all of us, we always wanted to move there. But for me, that was like the brink of a new start. I was like, I can actually be a different person here, and I can actually live a different life and be surrounded by different people. Like, I don't have to keep doing the same types of things. So that was like my fresh start. And in that as well, I was so unhappy with how I looked, and like I was like bullied for the way I looked and things like that as well. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get skinny and people will like me if I'm skinny. You know what I mean? And back then the words were skinny. It was like very much like thigh gap sort of thing, and, you know, being the smallest version of yourself. And it was like Tumblr days. So it was very like, you know, so I was like, okay, going to get skinny. And then that's when I started exercising and everything. And when I like started to lose weight, that's when I like started to get kind of validation from people as well. Or like people that used to bully me would be like, wow, you're looking so good. And so it was kind of just really like feeding like the validation, I guess you could say. And I did, to be completely honest, like there were so many positive parts. Like I was actually surrounded by nicer people. I did actually have like friendships, and like was actually starting to live a much nicer life and a happier life. But then it was also fueled by a very negative relationship towards myself and the body I was trying to achieve. So that kind of, and even my family was complimenting me on my body. And like, that's the thing about like eating disorders and things like that, is it can be portrayed as something healthy at the start. But sometimes if people aren't in the right mindset, that can very quickly lead to like very like negatively, and it can like really build up, because if someone's never really been praised for their body and then all of a sudden they're being praised for their body, they're like, oh, so this is how people like me. So it was very much that sort of situation for me. So it kind of just kept like building and building and building. And then I was extremely ill, like lost a lot of weight in a short period of time. And like by that point, when people started to notice, it was just way too late. So then I was hospitalized. And it was like at the start, you like kind of, I still remember being in those times, and even whilst I was losing weight, it was just never enough. Like I even remember when I had the thigh gap I was chasing, it was never enough. When you could like wrap your hands around it, like it was never enough. Like, and it was just never, it was always this chasing of the next thing, It's like, okay, well, like if, you know, you can't feel fat in one place, you were like, okay, well, I can feel it here. So it was just like, it was like so negative and so like never happy, never satisfied, always picking yourself apart. So like I really experienced what it was like to quite literally be your worst enemy.
How did it feel to start that process of having control, and then I would assume quite lose all of that control? How did that feel to sort of, did you notice the control slipping?
So it happens so like sneakily. Like it's probably like being in a toxic relationship where at the start you're like, this is all good. There's a few like maybe red flags, but you're like, oh, like this is probably normal. And then they like start, and then it's like you kind of become blinded by it. And then it's like all of a sudden you're like at the worst stage of it. And then you're like, oh, how the did I get here? You know what I mean? I would probably say it's obviously very different, but like quite similar to that, where it's very gradual and you kind of get blinded by it in the process. But I do remember when I lost all control, and when like, this always sounds so weird when I explain it, but it's genuinely still to this day probably the only way I can explain it. It's quite literally when the eating disorder like consumes you, it's literally like you're consumed by like a demon, like a second person has taken over your body, and you are no longer Millie. Like I'm no longer Millie inside of my body. It's like this other thing has taken over and it controls my thoughts. And like any time I would try and fight back, like you were immediately overpowered. So it's like you would kind of have a war inside your head where you're like telling yourself, you're like, I need to eat this, I need to finish this. But this other thing is like, but you'll get fat, but you know, you can't. Like, and it was like constantly. And then this one was so much stronger that you always felt like you were losing a battle. But I remember I had like a best friend at the time, and like when I would stay at her house and stuff, and sometimes when I was surrounded by people like that, you know, you love and you're actually having a good time and you can forget about it for like 2 seconds. I remember sometimes like we'd be talking and stuff and I'd just break down and say, I don't want to live like this. Like I don't want to be this way. I like, you know, like you would have those breakdowns, but then, you know, a few seconds later, those thoughts would come back in. So that was probably when I really started to realize how much I had lost control and I didn't know how to get through it, was when you're there crying, like begging for help, but there is no end in sight and you literally can't see like a way out. And like, it's crazy because I'm such a stubborn, disciplined person, and I'm like, it's like crazy when you're that wired and you're like, and I still don't know how to get out of this. You're like, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I really understand that feeling of lack of control, and it's sort of feeling like there's just someone taken over you. For a few years, I struggled on and off with bulimia, and it was very much the same feeling of like, I literally felt like I blacked out for a lot of the time, and I would like be like, there was no Morgan voice talking. It was all just something else happening.
Yep.
And it's really, really interesting that you can kind of like recall it now, but at the time it doesn't feel like there was any, like you can say, oh, there was a bit of back and forth, but at the time there probably was no back and forth.
Yes.
It was probably like you sort of feeling like maybe this wasn't right, but it was just all happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like the 0.1 second and then it's like, okay, like back to business sort of thing.
Were you rooted in fear at that time? Like, were you feeling quite scared?
So when I was really sick, I was like completely emotionless because it does flick off like wires in your brain when you're that unhealthy. It's like your body, to actually stay alive, now has to turn things off. I was very much at that point where like I felt no emotion. I felt no sadness. I felt no happiness. I felt no honestly, I felt a lot of anger. That was probably the one emotion I felt, but it was very like empty and just like if anything, it was just like, I don't want to be here. Like this is like, I'm done sort of thing. What was the question you just asked me?
You were rooted in fear.
Fear, yeah. If anything, there was certain times when like Millie would come through where I would be like, I don't think I'm going to make it through this, or like more along the lines of like, I'm going to live like this forever, because I genuinely didn't see like a life with outside of this voice that was always in my head. Like I eat a grape and I was like, you have to burn off that grape, a singular grape. And I'd literally do a workout in my fucking kitchen, like after eating a singular grape. Like it was so like mental. So I think it was when I remember one conversation I had. So I was going back and forth to doctors for like months and months and months. And like every single week, like multiple times a week, because I was at that stage where they were like, we don't know if this girl's going to make it through. And I remember a doctor, my normal GP, she was a bit light on me, and she was away, and then I had a new doctor that week, and he like literally sat me down and he pulled me close to his desk and he said, do you want to live? And I was like, what? And he's like, because if you keep going the way you're going, you're going to die. And like that was the first time I was like, holy shit, like I know, like it's like I knew. And then my dad as well, I remember, because again, like no one really knew how to talk to me. They didn't know what would trigger me. No one knew what to do. And I remember my dad's like quite a smaller frame, and my dad had lost a lot of weight from stress about me. And I remember we were at camp, and this was when I was really sick, and I think I'd just gotten out of hospital or something like that, and Dad had lost a lot of weight, and he was really trying to make me eat. He like caught on to things I was doing and stuff, and he just like started bawling, and he's like, I don't want my daughter to die. He's like, Millie, you're going to die. And like that was like scary. That was the first time I was like, oh, this isn't even just about me. Like I'm hurting everyone else around me as well. And that was probably like, I feel like when you're in those dark places, you don't really care about yourself. Like you've lost all care for yourself, but like you as a person still care about other people. And that was like when I was like felt bad for what I was doing, like to everyone else, like my younger brother having to see me in hospital when I was like a skeleton, you know, things like that. Like I was like, this is traumatizing everyone else around me as well. That's probably the only time I was like proper like scared, if that makes sense. Yeah.
That's a really heavy moment, you know, to see your dad break down and it be because of you. And that's hard. That's hard for anyone. And how old were you, like 14?
I was like 14, 15.
Yeah. That's a massive, massive thing to go through at such a young age. What did you feel about yourself then when you started to go, okay, I'm affecting other people? Did you feel shame?
It was more like hopelessness in a way. Like I really did not know how to get out. Like I really was like, I don't want to live like this. Like I am not happy. Like I am miserable and I do not want to be here. But it was more like, I think there was definitely shame, but I think as well, like just didn't know how to handle the load of what I was going through, because it's like mental illness is no joke. Like, and until people have like gone through mental illness, it's like, it's so easy for someone to be like, you know, if someone's depressed, just be like, well, like get outside and like be happy. It's like when like it's consuming, you know? So it's like, it was more a matter of like emptiness and feeling so hopeless and feeling like I didn't actually know or have the tools to get through.
And you don't at that point, right? Like, it's so hard. And I guess even back then, like we're talking 10-ish years ago, all it was on the news, on paper, on social media was skinny, skinny, skinny. And so when that's been ingrained in you and then you're like, well, how am I getting out of this? Let me go on social media and see if anyone else has gone through the same. Nope.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Helpful.
Exactly. 100%. And that was like, I think that's why I try to share and be really open with like my journey, even though sometimes I get backlash on it as well. It's like, I know what I genuinely needed back then was to see someone make it on the other side, because to me, there was no role models of someone who had been as sick as what I was, like, or sharing. Of course, there was plenty of role models, but no one that I could actually, you know, that my friends could send me to be like, this girl has made it through. Like, you do have hope. And that's, I think, the biggest thing you need when you're in those extremely low places is to have hope, because I had no hope. Like, I still remember the nurse when I was in hospital saying, you'll like, when I think I was saying to her, like, will I have these thoughts forever? Like, will I always feel like this? And she's like, you'll always have these thoughts. But like, that was the worst thing I could have heard, because I was like, I can't keep living like this. So it's like, and I feel like so many people, and I still like, I will have girls messaging me to this day, and they'll like, they think that having these thoughts about always thinking about food, always thinking about exercise, always thinking about like, I'm not skinny enough for this, that is normal. And it's normalized, but it's not normal. And like, I can so confidently say from having anorexia, I don't have those thoughts anymore. And like, I feel like if I was younger Millie, all I needed to hear was that I don't have to live like this forever. I don't have to have these thoughts forever. I don't have to focus on calories forever. You don't actually have to, this doesn't have to be your entire life forever, and you can actually live a full, balanced, beautiful life.
Yeah. It's scary when you're in that moment and you feel so tired and just over it, thinking, how am I going to do this for another like 80 years? Like, that's exhausting. It's exhausting enough for the last 2 years. What about for the rest of my life? And it's really powerful to know that that's what you needed. And I'm really proud of you, because that's what you're giving to other people. I'm sure there's so many people out there that are feeling the same, and they hear that and they go, wow, like maybe in 5 years or 10 years, maybe I won't think about calories. And that gives people hope, which is so incredible. So good. So what beliefs did you have to start to let go of to start this healing journey?
So a lot of my, the thing about recovery is it is so not linear. And I think sometimes people can kind of look at like my before to my after and think, okay, cool. So she just started weight training. She just started eating, and it was all like an uphill, like, you know, what is it? Uphill battle. Uphill's hard. Which one is it?
Downhill.
You get what I mean?
Yeah,
Whatever.
you're just going up.
Yeah, like just like linear up. But that's like not at all what recovery is. Like there was years and years and years of like, I always say like, it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or 1 step forward, 5 steps back. It's like you make a little bit of progress to come back, but like little bit by little bit, you are making small like steps in the right direction, even if it is so freaking slow, and like taking it genuinely day by day. Like I know every single day I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do my best today, and some days would be god awful and some would actually be good. Like some days I'd eat all my food, other days I'd eat 50% of it. You know what I mean? Like but anything was better than nothing. Anything was better than 1,000 steps back, you know? So it was very much like take it day by day, like really try and just do your best on that day. It was up and down, and, you know, but the real pivotal change was, so I was in Newcastle and I was still doing running and everything, and I was still, you know, I was eating, but like I was still being very, very clean, and like still very, very like every single day I had to run, like I had to stick to my nutrition every day, like couldn't waver off it. So it was still better, but not good, you know, still very like eating disorder behavior. And then I had to move back to Tamworth to live with my dad for a little bit. And in that time, like there's not much to do there apart from either drink and do drugs or go to the gym. So I was like, I'm going to go to the gym. So then I was going to the gym, and that's when I was doing like pump classes with my sister in Newcastle, like very like small, but like doing something, starting to get into weights. And then I went to Tamworth, and that's when I started actually getting into weight training and following like YouTube workouts and things like that. And just, that's when I started to really feel more empowered within my body. It was the first time I'd ever genuinely felt empowered within my body and what it could do, and actually like seeing progression in weights, and then also seeing some muscle definition come through. And it was there was a bit of a flick to like changing from wanting to be the smallest version of myself to wanting to be more like toned and strong, and like, you know, actually like see progress in less of like, yeah, being the smaller version of myself, and more of like, oh, like I want to look like I actually train, you know? And of course, again, it wasn't healthy straight away. Like I was still doing a ton of cardio in the gym for 3 hours. Like it was still too much, but it was like a flick. And over time, it got healthier and healthier. And that's when like I found my love for weight training. And that's when I started PT, like doing my PT course and everything. It was also my excuse to get out of Tamworth and come back to Newcastle. And so then I started studying PT and like educating myself a lot more. That's when I like completely culled who I followed on social media and just followed like more educational type people, like people that were very no BS, and people that were like good for my mental health and good for like my relationship towards my body and my training and nutrition and all those things. So like got rid of a lot of like influency type people, and really tried to like make the type of information I was getting in positive. That was also when I started reading like self-development books. Like it was very much like a period of time where I literally just like went heavy in the self-development. So then I started reading self-development books, and like really that's when I started to realize how powerful the mind was. And when I was reading these books and it was talking about how like your mindset will dictate your entire life, I related to it because I put it straight into how I had my eating disorder. I got anorexia, like being depressed, all of this. I was like, I created this. Because you do, and as harsh as it is, because it is harsh and we hate to admit where the reason for our own pain, I did. Every single thought I said to myself was how fat and ugly I was, and like every single thought was about food and exercise. Of course that's going to become my entire life. And like then I was like, okay, let's just try. Let's just try, and every time a negative thought comes up, I replace it. And even if it doesn't have to be, if you genuinely think that you're ugly and you're fat or whatever, it doesn't have to be, I'm beautiful and I love my body, because you don't believe that yet. But it could just be like, I'm kind, like I'm a good person, I like who I am. And like, that's how I started. I was like, okay, well, I don't have to focus on the physical element that I don't love yet. I can focus on the person I am on the inside. And that's when I started to really like shift my thoughts from constantly being so negative and self-critical to actually being more uplifting. And then that just like built on each other, and over time, and that is genuinely where the recovery truly started, because it wasn't like this, but it's like every day, every week, every month, the negative thoughts become less and the positive thoughts become more. And over time, it was like I actually liked myself, and and not even from a physical component, but like I liked who I was. And the thought and my instant thought about things wasn't about how ugly or fat or hated myself. It was more uplifting sort of thoughts. And it just compounded over time. And yeah, and then from there as well, when I started my PT and then educating myself more, doing a ton of courses, and it was like, that's when I really started to like strip away everything I thought I ever knew and created my own new like reality and like started from scratch sort of thing.
Oh my gosh, so many things I want to unpack there. First of all, Hattie has this beautiful thing where she says, you're not here by chance, you're here by choice. And she realized that when she was in the hospital. She looked around her and she went, holy fuck, like this didn't just happen to me. Like I literally did this. Like my mind literally, like my body did exactly what my mind told it to. And my mind told it to like do all this, which is wild, right? I want to sort of talk about rewiring your brain and then rewiring those automatic negative thoughts. So when you get those automatic negative thoughts that pop up, this was back then, what were you saying to yourself? You were saying, okay, I'm kind, I'm sort of not attaching to them.
So it was very like, so it might be little things like, because this is and I feel like this is where like the affirmations thing goes wrong, because people are like, I love my body. I love it. And it's like, if that is not actually how you feel, that internally isn't going to shift anything for you, because you want to shift the energy. So like if you're saying things that you truly don't believe, it's like if you want $1 million and you're like, I have $1 million. It's like, you don't have $1 million, you know? So it's got to be things that like you actually believe. So for me, it might have been, I like the color of my eyes. I like that I care about people. It genuinely could be literally anything that is just a nice thing about yourself. And then over time, it could start to, you can build on it. It could be like, I like my hair. I like my thing, it could be so surface level. But once you start to believe the things, and it's like, honestly, it's about like balancing out those negative to positive thoughts. And as this starts to be more balanced, and as this, the negative thoughts start to become less, you can actually start to say, you'll feel better about yourself. So you'll be able to start saying things like, okay, well, I do actually like that I have bigger legs. And, I do, and like all of those types of things. So it wasn't, I don't remember the exact things, but I know I started so like little, or like it could be things like how you treat your friends, or anything that is like positive about yourself. And over time, when you start to feel a bit better, you can add more and more things. So you might start with one thing, and then you do 2 things in the second month, and then 3 things in the third month, and it, like over time, it's like, oh, I actually do have nice traits about myself.
Yeah, it's really easy to get really attached to those negative thoughts, and that's kind of what can lead you down that real negative spiral. Have you ever heard of Dr. Armin? He's like a brain scientist.
Maybe.
He goes on all the podcasts. Anyway, he has this thing where he calls them ants, automatic negative thoughts.
Yep.
And these ants like come up into your mind, and if you start to like obsess over them, then you just start freaking out about the ants. But if you can kind of just like flick the ant away,
Yep.
it kind of goes away.
Yep.
Do you still get automatic negative thoughts pop up in your head now?
It's so interesting. Yes, like of course we all get negative thoughts. I'm so quick to like not add any value to them though.
Yeah.
So it's like so for example, and this was a huge shift I made probably a few years ago when I found myself, I was like, fat is not a word in my vocabulary anymore. It's not something I use. When I had all my weight fluctuations, it was very easy for me to get very caught up in like how I looked, especially with social media. Like, and also it was very much like if I put on 5 kilos overweight, I'm like, I'm going to step outside and people are going to be like, this bitch is a liar. Like, who the fuck does she think she is? So I was kind of like, okay, I feel fluffy. So I just kind of like changing words you use can make such an impact, because I was no longer, it was like, fat is such an aggressive, nasty word. But fluffy, it's kind of like, oh, okay, like, water retention, like, it was just softer. So it was like just changing words I had. So now I very much so like, I feel like I've rationalized so many things in my head that when you're younger and I guess less educated, you will think like if you put on weight overnight that like, oh my God, I've put on weight, like I'm, gaining weight. When you understand, you're like, that's literally impossible. It's like you just don't add any weight to it. You're like, okay, let's just get back on track. Let's go for a walk. Let's eat good today. Let's drink more water. Get a good night's sleep. It's all good. You'll be fine tomorrow. So I'm very good at like just rationalizing with myself and not actually, beating myself up. And I feel like I do that with a lot of things. I feel like I'm really not that self-critical anymore. I'm like, okay, what do I have control over? Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good because really like those automatic negative thoughts are going to pop up in every scenario about your body, about your mind, about your life. Like they're always going to pop up no matter what. It's just the way kind of things are.
Yep.
But the quicker you can detach from them, the quicker you can rationalize them because they're always irrational.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like I'll have like a busy day. I'll do so much stuff. I'll get to the end of the day and my brain will just be like, you're lazy and you're never going to be successful. And I'm like, no, I'm going to rationalize that.
Yeah.
Look at the to-do list I ticked off today.
Yes.
It's the same thing, right?
100%. Like sometimes you just need to make yourself feel a bit better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I get the same thing. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, exact same thing. You're at the end of the day and now you start to do the scroll and you're like, you lazy bitch. Like, and I'm like, okay, actually I've been working all day, girl. Like chill out. No, 100%. Like sometimes you just need to like calm yourself down. But yeah, it's kind of, I feel like the biggest thing is just not adding onto the thought and adding and letting it spiral. So much easier said than done. That time of the month, I'm a spirally girl, like we all are. Those thoughts become a little bit more potent. But I think overall, and like it is such a normal thing to have those thoughts. It's just those thoughts should not be the dominant thoughts,
Yeah. And the language you use around those, the language you use about yourself, that all is so, so important. If we start to then really deem them as negative, like you can, when those negative thoughts pop up, literally call them like an ant, like, oh, fuck, these ants coming up. Like it's when we start to go like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, every time I feel this way, I get really angry. Then we demonize it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I want to sort of touch on the discipline point. You kind of just touched on it before about the discipline of when you were coming out of this eating disorder, you started to be really strict with the diet, but it was still positive. It was better, but it wasn't completely better.
Mm-hmm.
What's your relationship with discipline now?
I have such a good balance now. Like I am still a very disciplined person, but like now I eat well to nourish my body. It's not because I feel like I have to, because I have to. Like it's not I eat well because otherwise I'm going to put on weight. Like it's because, oh no, I feel good when I eat well. Like my brain is like, it's more clear. I have a better sleep. I feel better physically. It's such a domino effect into the lifestyle I want to live. I don't want to feel sluggish. I don't want to feel like groggy. I don't want to feel slow. I want to feel good. So for me, eating well is like I choose to do that because it helps me live the life I want to live. And I do enjoy the food now. Like when you find meals that you love, it's not a punishment. Like eating well is not a punishment. It's such a beautiful way to help your body thrive. So I eat well because I want to eat well. So that already is such a huge mental shift. But in the same breath, if I feel like eating something out, I will eat it because it's not what you do sometimes, it's what you do most of the time. But I am still selective with what I eat, because, especially with my gut health stuff. There's no point me eating food that is going to cause a gut flare. But now, and in the past, it was definitely not that way. If I started to eat like something that maybe I didn't usually, I would binge and I would just keep eating because I'm like, well, I'm not going to eat this again, so I need to eat all of it. Things like ice cream or things like chocolate or anything. If we were eating a meal out, I had to the plate had to be squeaky clean, like very much like all or nothing sort of thing. But now I'm like, I can eat whatever I want whenever I want. If I want to go eat hot chips, I can eat hot chips. If I want to have them tomorrow, I can have them tomorrow. So I don't need to, like if I'm starting to feel full now, I can actually stop because I don't have that mindset that I can never eat this again and I need to eat all of this and I need to get it all out of the house now. That's taken a freaking long time, a really long time. Like I definitely went through stages of the whole binging, of the purging as well, of like the, all of it. But I feel like everything stems down to the relationship you have, one, with yourself, but two, with exercise or food. And it's the way that you are viewing these things. Is it a punishment or is it something you're choosing to do? Again, it's the choice element. Are you choosing to do this to better yourself, or are you doing it because you actually hate yourself?
Yeah.
You know, it all comes down to that relationship.
Yeah. Change and progression in the gym can come from love and loving your body and wanting to improve it. And it can also come from hating your body and wanting to change it. And when we come into this like self-love, it's not selfish. It's like self-love can be self-improvement. And when we have that mindset,
I think self-love is self-improvement. Like, I genuinely think that if you want the best for yourself and you want the best for your life, you want to become better in every area. Like, you should always be trying to, and it's not from a place of I'm not good enough. It's that I want to give myself the best, you know? Sorry for interrupting, but like, I feel like that's just, it gets so twisted on social media where it's not necessarily being just like happy with the status quo and just as you are, which it is an element. It's being content with where you are and still wanting better.
100%. I love my life. I love everything that I'm doing and I want to improve it. I want to be smarter. I want to be stronger. I want to be fitter. And that's not because I want to be like somebody else. I just want to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
It's such a healthy place to be in, but it's a journey. And I don't think that neither of us would be at this point in our journey if we hadn't have been through the other points of our journey.
Absolutely. And like, that's the thing. I truly believe, as crappy as things are in the time, and you wouldn't wish, you know, those negative experience upon anyone, I truly believe that we go through every single thing we go through to help us, you know, overcome, to learn, to become wiser, to become the next version of ourselves we need to be, to live the fullest life. Like, I'm so grateful for my anorexia. I'm so grateful for every single challenging thing I've been through in my life, because it's given me such a new perspective and a new appreciation, or a better understanding of myself or what I want, or like whatever it is that helps me level up into a new, better version of myself. And you obviously have a choice in those as well. You can either, you know, go down a more, like, if you choose to like ride the wave and overcome it and look at everything to be like, what has this taught me? You can make every single negative situation work for you in the better. Like, every single one.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah.
All about perspective. When was the moment that you realized that big struggle in your life became your biggest lesson?
Ooh. I think when I started to share on social media a bit more and like share a bit more of my journey, I still remember the first time I posted like a transformation photo. And when I was like, I can help, even if it's not someone that's going through anorexia, because obviously that's such an extreme mental illness in and of itself, but like it can also be like related to depression, anxiety, so many other struggles, because it is all about that mindset, and it is all about having that hope to come out the other side, and that you are in control of your life and that you can overcome anything. And that's coming from someone who genuinely was that close to not like being here and not wanting to be here and like those types of things. So I think for me, I was like, this one, it has helped me now in my, even if I'm just like completely wiping social media from it and like helping others in some way, it's also about me. Any challenge I go through, I know I can overcome it. No matter how hard it is, no matter how much it consumes me, I'm like, I am so strong and so powerful and I can overcome anything. So for me, it's also an element of like, no matter what happens, I have all the tools within me to make it through. And I think that's really powerful as well, because it's so easy to get consumed in life with anything, because even things that may not look big to other people can feel so life-consuming to you at the time. And it's so easy to feel like I'm going to feel this way forever, especially if you're in like a state of depression or something like that, where all you feel is emptiness. But to know that it may be a month, it may be 6 months, it may be 12 months, I will get to the other side and I will feel better. And for me, I always try and hold on to, I'm going to learn something from this. I'm going to learn something from this. I will be grateful for this one day. Could be very, very far away, but I will be grateful for it.
Yeah, it's important to try and remind yourself that as you're going through it as well.
Yeah.
Like I always think that with like working and like hustling, like I'm at the moment, I'm in this phase of like, I'm trying to build this podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that if I just put the work in now, it will come into fruition. But if I don't remind myself that constantly, sometimes I can just feel really in that slump of like, I feel like I'm just grinding, man. But I'm like, no, it's for a better reason. Like something's gonna come out of this eventually.
Definitely.
But it's hard in the moment.
No,
I mean, especially.
Of course it is. Of course. But you are doing so well. You honestly are. And like, absolutely. It's like, it's so easy to get caught up in when it's like the gym. And I was actually talking to someone about this morning. I was like, one of my favorite things about the gym is the discipline it teaches you, because the reps you put in every day, even when it is invisible progress, it is progress. And you're going to get 3, 6, 12 months down the track and your body will have completely transformed. And even when you felt like you were making no progress at all, you're feeling so frustrated, the days were so hard, every single little bit of effort, every single thing you did, when no one else was looking, is adding up, and it is leading you to exactly where you want to be, to your dream body, to your dream, job, whatever it is. But like, it is all about the effort that you're actually putting in.
You're a very disciplined person, and regardless of whether it's disciplined in an eating disorder, which is, we don't want that, but it's disciplined in your recovery. Like we can see that you put the effort in, and now we can see that discipline shining through in your work, in your socials, in your gym. I mean, you're building so much muscle now, which is just generally because of that discipline, right? How would you sort of get someone else to flip the script if they were on that discipline path but going down the negative spiral? What would you say to them to help them flip it to come out the other way?
I think the biggest thing is, obviously, everyone wants to be happy. I would say everyone's end goal is happiness. People chase a body because they think it'll make them happy. People chase money because they think that it'll make them happy. People chase a relationship because they think it will make them happy. Everything ultimately leads to a level of happiness that they want to feel in their life. And the thing is, it's like what we kind of spoke about at the very beginning, just chasing one singular thing, whether it is a body, whether it is money, whether it is a relationship, that one singular thing is not going to make you happy. The happiness comes from within yourself. It comes from the way you speak to yourself every day, the way you show up for yourself, and actually like living a life that is true to you. And if you feel like your life is leading down a direction that makes you unhappy, you do have a choice to flip it and make sure that you're moving in a more positive direction. But it is all going to start with your direction behind it, like the words that are leading you there. So I think the biggest thing is like really getting clear on like the actual goal and what that means to you, and making sure that like the words you speak become the house you live in. I love that quote because it is so true. So just make sure that inner dialogue is like, it is lifting you up rather than dragging you down. Because yes, there is going to be, and it's like with discipline as a whole, I always get asked, how do you stay so motivated? It's like, I am not always motivated. There is a level of discipline you have to achieve. Yes, once you repeat things for a long period of time, it becomes a habit. That's where we want to get. But that does not mean that you're motivated. So it's like at the very start of someone's fitness journey, or, starting a business, or apps, this can literally be directed to anything. And again, that's why I love the gym, because I feel like you can really translate it to all areas. It's like at the start, you're going to have a level of motivation. Might last a few days, might last a week, might last a month. That motivation will die out. That's when you have to rely on discipline. So that's showing up even when you don't want to. And like if you're going to, it's like you have a goal of going to the gym 4 days per week, for example. You show up regardless of how you feel. You might have the worst session. You might hit crap numbers. Like you get up for that walk that you said you're going to do. It's actually committing to the promises you make to yourself, because in that you also build confidence. Because every single time you don't show up for the things that you say you're going to, that like even if you have not said that to anyone else, you are listening, and that's imprinting into your mind that you're not someone that follows through with what you say you will. So it's like actually having the discipline that even if it's a crappy session, I'm going. And it's even if, you might not go for a full hour walk, but you go for a 15-minute walk. These small things, again, they're adding up and they're helping you create a new identity for yourself. And that's the most important thing. So it's like, yes, you're going to have motivation. That needs to turn into discipline. When you practice discipline for long enough, it becomes a habit. It becomes second nature. You don't think about it. It's like I usually go to the gym, it's like that time rolls around. I don't even think before I've, had my coffee or my pre-workout or whatever, and I'm out the door going to the gym. It's not a second thought anymore. And also relieving that pressure from yourself that every single session or every single work stunt or every single whatever it may be needs to be 100%. And it's like, no, you actually just need consistency. You actually just need to show up. Yeah. Because if you're constantly putting that pressure on yourself that it needs to be 100%, you're constantly going to be setting yourself back. Those negative thoughts are going to start to come in, and it's just like it's a losing battle.
Yeah, 100%. It's important as well, like to put that same discipline into your rest and into your recovery as well. So knowing that like, okay, I'm going to be disciplined with this, but it also means I have to be disciplined in all the other areas of my life. Like if I'm going to choose to train 4 times a week, I'm going to then be disciplined with those rest days so that I can recover. And it's the same with your food. I'm going to be disciplined in eating this, but I'm also going to be disciplined in letting myself have enjoyment in different foods. Like we've got to put that discipline into all of those areas, like you were saying.
100%.
I'm really big on perspective, and I love the thought around like what you were just saying about the voices, the words you say are the house you live in. I'm really big on this perspective thing of like, when something comes up, it's not really negative or positive. It's just neutral. And the things we say is what makes it negative or positive.
Yes.
I think that's another really big point for people that are going through like a bit of a struggling time is like you can choose how you perceive something, whether it's a lesson or whether it's, a positive or a negative. And that's our world. Like our perception is literally our reality. And that comes to play with our language as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's that other one? It's when things change inside you, things change around you. It's, for example, some people could look at waking up early in the morning and be like, oh, I'm so tired. I shouldn't be up right now. Or you could be like, oh my God, it's such a beautiful day. How lucky am I to be alive for another day? Like even those little things, like I'm so huge on like gratitude for the small things, because like it's just like even us being alive is a miracle. Us making it through another day is a miracle. Like there is someone else literally having their last breath right now that is our age. Like we think we've got all the time in the world. We think our problems are the biggest problems in the world. But like in reality, like we get one life, like whatever we believe in right now, we get one life. And this could be, it could be a day, it could be a month, it could be a year, it could be 10 years, it could be 50 years. We actually don't know. So like the least we can give to ourselves is to be happy and follow our dreams and actually live the life we want to live and like actually like be happy now, because so much of what we do in this day, well, I feel like forever, but what we do is like we're chasing happiness for a long term. We're chasing a happiness for 20 years time, for 10 years time. It's like, but if you're not happy now, who knows if you're even going to make it there?
Literally. I always think about, I can't think of the quote, but it's like, if you can't be happy on a bus with your mates, you're not going to be happy on a yacht with your mates. Like you have to just appreciate these little things, because we just think that like all of a sudden we're going to get like, I don't know, you're not happy in your life and you think, I'm just going to get this dream apartment and all of a sudden I'm going to love waking up early. I'm going to be grateful for the sunrise. Like, no, nothing's going to change. And then as soon as you do start being grateful for like the house you are in and you start to make it pretty and you do wake up, you're going to give yourself opportunities. You're going to be more confident. Opportunities are going to come to you, and you will end up in the dream place eventually, but you'll also be grateful for it.
Exactly.
I can see that with you because you just recently moved, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I can see how much you love this new place, but not just because it's like aesthetically pleasing. Like I can see that you've always been grateful for the sunrise and for your wake ups, and now you're in a better space for it. How did that feel moving?
Oh my God. Like, It's literally like a dream. Like it is, I'm so grateful. Like it's weirdly feels like one of my biggest like accomplishments because I'm just like, I feel like I'm now living like the dream life that like I envisioned for myself because I love that. Like I feel so much, I'm such a environment person. I feel so peaceful by the beach, like the ocean and like I love the sunrise. Like these little things bring me so much peace and just gratitude and just like grounds me so much. And like I've always felt so like just like connected to myself in those types of environments. And I did live on the beach back when I lived in Newcastle and like the way that I could just sit and watch the ocean for like 5 hours straight. Like, and so I was always like, I'm going to be back there. And it feels just like, it feels so good. Like even just like listening to the waves roll in, like I'm like, oh, it feels incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so, I'm the exact same. I love being by the beach. I love watching the sunrise. Being able to see the sunrise from my balcony is truly right now my favorite thing ever. And I feel so much gratitude. And I hold on to that feeling because it does make you so grateful for life,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So good.
Because like that's the thing. It's like I always say the most beautiful things in life are free. It's like literally like I think the sky, like the way, and this is so like some people can be like, shut the fuck up. But like sometimes like the sky, I'm like, this is such a reminder of how beautiful the world is. Like how lucky are we? Like when the sky lights up all these colors every single time the sunrise comes up, like sun on your skin, like the ocean, like all these things are just gentle reminders of like how beautiful life can be. And if you can just like really like disconnect and actually bring yourself into the present moment and those simple things, like away from all the crap that might be happening in your life and all the thoughts that are in your head, it's like life actually can be so beautiful. And I think that's why I love like the beach and the sunrise and the ocean so much because I'm like, that is my daily reminder of that. And it's just such a beautiful way to start the day. But yeah, it makes me so happy thinking, even talking about it. I'm like, oh, I love it.
I know. I feel like I got little goosebumps, right? It's so crazy. But Millie, that is why so many people love you because the energy that you put out is so positive and so positivity just comes back to you. You know, no wonder that you've got the success and the dream life because not only have you worked for it, but you're also just putting that positive energy out there and that's going to come back, right? It's going to come back in tenfold. And even just speaking with you today, I feel energized. I feel excited. I'm like, I'm going to go catch a sunset tonight. It's going to be so beautiful. And I think that everyone listening is going to feel really, really uplifted and energized after this conversation because it's truly been wonderful.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. That is so nice. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome. So what's next on the horizon? Are you going away?
I am. Yes. I'm leaving on Sunday, this Sunday, 3rd of August, to go to London for 3 weeks for Honor Active and EHP, which will be really, really exciting. I've got some really exciting things coming up with them, shooting with Honor. And then I've got like even some like meetups and stuff with EHP, like for some of my London community, which will be absolutely incredible. And also like I've got a Gold Coast meetup this Sunday as well.
Yes, I'm going to come.
Yes, oh my God, yay. That makes me so happy. I'm so excited because that's a huge thing I want to do. Like it was a huge thing I wanted to do this year was like just connect with my community more. And like I'm really excited to do that because like I love talking to people and I love meeting them and obviously also putting like faces behind social media. You know, like you might talk to someone and whatever, but like meeting someone in real life is so different, like giving someone a cuddle. Like I'm so excited. So I have a lot of really exciting things coming up. And I genuinely I feel so grateful. Like this year, I am like overpowered with gratitude. I feel like it's been so much work in progress. And like, again, when I was saying earlier, it's like a lot of obstacles, but they all teach you something. But I feel like it's all leading me to like being in a place I am now, which is like doors are opening, things are aligning. And like, I feel like I am a better version of myself that was open to receiving these sorts of things. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah. And you know what? You have chosen to make the obstacles lessons. You have chosen to put the good out there. And so, of course, it's just It's happening for you, my girl. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited. Well, I will be there on Sunday. This episode will
Yay.
be out after that.
No, that's okay.
But, well, I'm so grateful that you came on today. I think everyone's going to get so much value.
Thank you so much, Morgan. And thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for creating like such a beautiful, safe space and doing everything you're doing because you're amazing.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you everyone for listening. If you loved this episode, please share it on your Instagram. Go and send it to a friend that you think will love it. And I will speak to you all in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.